The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra has an impressive quad camera setup that can capture incredibly detailed photos and videos. But if you want to unlock the full potential of the camera, then you must learn all of its features. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through about 50 awesome camera features and give you some tips and tricks for the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Welcome to the channel guys, Tech Guy Charlie here. Alright, so first off, let's go over the camera hardware because you should know what function each of these camera modules actually perform. Right, so the Galaxy S22 Ultra has got a quad camera setup. So from the top, we've got the 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and you will be very happy to know that this year the ultra wide angle camera has got autofocus. So this allows you to stay in focus and get close to your subjects using the ultra wide angle camera. In the middle, we've got the main 108 megapixel camera unit. This camera is the star of the show and is capable of recording videos in 8K at 24 FPS. At the bottom, we've got the 10 times telephoto periscope camera. This is responsible for those insane 10 times zoomed in shots. And the fourth camera is a 10 megapixel 3 times telephoto camera. This activates when you select the 3 times zoom level on your phone. And this is the laser autofocus system and the LED flash. By the way, all of the cameras can record videos in 4K at 60 FPS and they all have autofocus and are optically stabilized, except the ultra wide angle camera. This does have autofocus but it lacks OIS. I feel that's okay because the videos coming out of this camera are quite stable. Finally, on the front we've got a 40 megapixel camera with autofocus. So now that you are familiar with the camera hardware of the Galaxy S22 Ultra, we can now proceed to the main video. I'm going to start off with the basics and gradually move on to the more advanced features. Alright, so let's begin. So starting from the basics, how do you launch the camera? Well, there are many ways. One of the easiest ways is to double tap the power button and that brings the camera up. You can also do this when the screen is off, just double tap the power button and there you go. And this gives you easy access to the camera. And because this is essentially a Galaxy Note, you can also use the S Pen to launch the camera. So take the S Pen out, press and hold the button on the S Pen and that will launch the camera. Also, you can take photos by pressing the button on the S Pen. You can also use the volume buttons as the shutter button for the camera and take photos using this. So usually the way I take photos is by double tapping the power button and then using the volume buttons to take photos. So that makes it super easy to take photos on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. The camera UI is very simple and easy to use. This bottom row contains your camera modes. By default, you've got 3 modes: portrait, photo and video. But all of the interesting stuff is inside the More tab. So you've got the manual modes, which are the Pro and Pro Video, and night mode is here as well. So what I would recommend is customizing this bottom row which contains your camera modes. This way you'll have easy access to the camera modes that you use frequently. So the way you customize is by dragging and dropping the camera modes from the More tab down to the bottom row. Once you get a camera mode onto this row, you can place it wherever you want. When you are done, tap on Save. So this is my setup. I've got every camera mode that I use frequently down over here. So doing this will give you easy access to the camera modes that you might want to use frequently. So one of the main selling points of the Galaxy S22 Ultra is the 10 times telephoto camera, and it is indeed awesome. Let's try and zoom in onto that building. So right now I've got the ultra wide angle camera selected and this is exactly what my eyes are seeing. Now let's switch to the main camera. Then comes the 3 times telephoto camera and finally the 10 times telephoto camera. And let me tell you, this level of zoom on a smartphone is just insane. And it really doesn't stop here. You can zoom in even further by selecting 30 times and that really brings you up close. Heck, you can even count the number of grills. This level of zoom would actually come in very handy for wildlife photography. And also for taking close-up shots of my neighbor's dog. He's a good boy. Now even though this phone's got 100 times zoom, it is kinda pointless since the pictures turn out to be soft and mushy. This is because anything beyond 10 times is actually a cropped photo and you're not using the full pixel area of the camera sensor. 30 times zoom is also kinda usable, but it is still a wee bit soft. So if you want the best picture quality and a sharp photo, limit yourself to 3 times or 10 times while using the zoom feature. This way you get a picture coming from the full pixel area and not something that is cropped. But still, it is very impressive to see this level of zoom on a smartphone. Now, the best thing is that all of these cameras also work in social media apps like Snapchat and Instagram. Snapchat actually shows you a little button at the bottom which you can tap to activate the ultra wide angle camera. How amazing is that? And as you start zooming in, the telephoto camera will take over automatically. You can actually tell when the switch happens to the telephoto camera. It's right about here. Awesome, right? So this will allow you to take crystal clear, zoomed in photos with third-party apps like Snapchat. And yes, you can also use the ultra-wide and the telephoto camera in Instagram. So yeah, this is a step in the right direction and I approve of this. And boy oh boy, this phone takes incredibly detailed photos of the moon. So to take a photo of the moon, you don't have to do anything special. Just point your S22 Ultra at the moon, select the 30 times zoom, and the phone will do the rest for you. Once the moon is in frame, just tap on the shutter button and that is it. And you're gonna end up with a beautiful photo of the moon. Sometimes you will see this little icon on the screen, especially when you take macro shots such as photos of flowers. If you tap on this, it activates a feature called Focus Enhancer, and this feature utilizes the ultra wide angle lens to take macro photos. I can actually demonstrate by moving my finger onto the ultra wide lens. See that? That shows you the phone is using the ultra wide angle lens to take macro shots. Now thing is, it does improve focus in some circumstances, but if you want better quality photos, I would recommend disabling this feature because the 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera is not as good as the main 108 megapixel camera of the phone. And it is quite obvious because pictures taken from the main camera have more details and also have better color reproduction. I think the reason why the ultra-wide camera gives you sharper photos is because of its aperture. It is f2.2 and the main camera is f1.8. But yeah, I would rather keep all of these fancy enhancements turned off so that I can get the best quality photo from the main camera. And I think you should too. The way you record videos in 8K is by going into the video mode and changing the resolution to 8K. Now, I don't really recommend that you record in 8K unless you have an 8K television to view these videos on. But one big advantage of recording videos in 8K is that you can extract high quality 33 megapixel still image from the video itself. The way you do this is actually quite simple. Let me show you. So go into the gallery and select the 8K video that you want to extract the still image from. Navigate to the part of the video from which you want to extract the still image. Pause the video and press on this button. And this will extract a full resolution 33 megapixel still image from the 8K video. And the phone will save the extracted still photo in a folder called video capture. Here it is. And holy moly, check out that resolution, 7680 into 4320. That is 8K. And this is such a high resolution photo that you can zoom in all the way without having any pixelation or distortion. That is impressive. And hey, you can also capture still images while recording a video. So just tap on this camera button and the phone will take a still image while the video recording is going on. That is super convenient. So here's a tip for you guys. You don't actually need to change the camera mode from photo to video just to record a video. You can record videos in the photo mode itself. If you press and hold the camera shutter button, you will see that the camera starts recording a video. So that is a neat hidden feature. Also, you see this lock icon? If you drag your finger to this, you get some additional features to play with. So you can switch between the cameras, activate the LED flash, take still shots by pressing this button, and even switch between the front and the rear camera, and also pause and resume the video recording. So this is an awesome feature that lets you record videos right in the photo mode itself. But there is a limitation. This mode does not do 4K. Videos that are recorded in the photo mode are limited to 1080p as you can see. So if you want to record in 4K, then you will have to switch to the main video recording mode. But still, it's an amazing feature if you want to quickly capture something. Now sometimes when you want to record videos in 4K, then you will have to switch to the dedicated video mode, which usually takes about 2 to 3 seconds because you're gonna launch the camera, change the mode from photo to video, and then hit the record button to start the video recording. And during this time, you might miss out on that special moment that you want to capture. So, to speed up the video recording process and to cut down on one extra step of changing the camera mode from photo to video, you can actually add the dedicated video mode shortcut to the home screen. The way you do this is by long pressing the camera icon, and the phone will give you two options: video and photo. What you can do is drag the video icon to the home screen, and there you go. Now you have a dedicated video mode shortcut right on your home screen. So just tap on the icon and start the video recording. It barely takes less than a second. Now let's talk a bit about the Pro or the manual modes on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. So you get two manual modes, one for the photo and the other one for the video. Both of them provide similar functionality. They give you complete manual control over the camera, and this allows you to control the camera's ISO level, shutter speed, exposure value, focus, white balance, and choose how the microphone captures the audio. And yes, the Pro mode works with all four rear cameras. On older Galaxies, it only used to work with the ultra wide and the main camera. Thankfully, there is no such limitation on the S22 Ultra. And in my opinion, using manual mode is quite beneficial. For example, this video was captured using the regular video mode. It kinda looks okay, but I can tell it's a bit overexposed, and you also don't have any control over the phone's autofocus. You can just tap on the object that you want to focus and the phone will do it for you. You don't have any control over the speed. But using the manual controls, you can record better quality videos. So take a look at this. I am using a higher shutter speed, and that fixed the overexposed issue. And because this camera mode gives you full control over the focus system, you can change it yourself to give the video a slightly cinematic feel. And speaking of focus, the phone will tell you which part of the subject is in focus. So as you adjust the focus manually, the phone will apply a green highlight to the area that is in focus. This feature is called peaking focus, and it will let you know which part of your image is in focus in the Pro modes. And this being the Galaxy S22 Ultra also has the Expert RAW app. The main advantage of this is that you get linear DNG 16-bit RAW output, along with full manual control over all four cameras. So this app takes photos in the DNG format, and there are many advantages of shooting in RAW. Mainly, you get more flexibility when it comes to editing. And these are pretty big uncompressed files. This one is about 38 megabytes. By the way, you can import these directly into Adobe Lightroom for editing. Now, I'm not a professional photographer, so I'm not gonna pretend I know everything about Lightroom and RAW, but I will say that a little editing goes a long way. So check this out. We have gone from a crappy looking, unusable photo to something that is a little bit more presentable. And I've barely spent about 5 minutes tweaking the settings in Adobe Lightroom. By the way, you will have to download this app from the Galaxy store. It is not included with the phone. So, if you are into professional photography and you know your way around Lightroom, then the Expert RAW app is a game changer. If you're a vlogger, you are absolutely going to love this next feature. So this phone has a feature called Director's View, and this allows you to use both the front as well as the rear cameras at once. So you've got the video feed coming in from the rear cameras and also have your face in the video itself in this picture-in-picture sort of a view. Plus, you can also switch between the different rear cameras. So if you want, you can also use the telephoto or the ultra wide-angle camera while you are recording videos like this. You can even move the video feed that is coming from the front-facing camera around. And if you want, you can also make the picture-in-picture view slightly bigger. And hey, you can even flip the cameras around. So now the feed coming in from the front camera is our background, and the video feed coming in from the rear cameras is in the picture-in-picture mode. You can also change the layout from picture-in-picture to side-by-side. So yeah, plenty of features to play around with. You can also save both video feeds as two separate files. Press on this button and the phone will save both the videos as two separate 16:9 video files. One from the front camera and the other one from the rear camera. and you can edit these later on a PC or a Mac. So this actually gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, because the Galaxy S22 Ultra is essentially a Galaxy Note, you can use its S Pen to control the camera. And the S Pen is more than just a simple remote shutter button. It actually performs a lot of functions in the camera. So you guys already know that if you press the button on the S Pen, the camera will take a photo or start a video recording. But if you hold the button and flick the S Pen up, that will switch to the front-facing camera, and flicking the S Pen down will switch back to the rear lens. You can also press the button and rotate the S Pen clockwise to zoom in and also activate the telephoto cameras. And rotating counterclockwise will zoom out and also activate the ultra-wide lenses. Then you can also change the camera modes by flicking the S Pen from left to right or right to left. Amazing, right? And finally, you can give a slideshow in the gallery by using the same method. So yes, the S Pen is more than just a simple stylus, it is a fully functional part of your Galaxy S22 Ultra. I absolutely love this feature. I also find tracking autofocus extremely useful, especially while recording videos. So once you enable this feature, tap the object that you want to keep in focus and the phone will track that object and keep it in focus. So even if you move or if the object moves, the phone will track the object and keep it in focus. Very useful for recording videos. Now if you don't want tracking focus, you can disable it and use tap to focus instead. So tap on the subject that you want to focus and you can also adjust the exposure by using this slider. But after a few seconds, it goes away and everything resets. So if you want to lock the focus and exposure onto something, press and hold and the phone will lock the focus and exposure onto the subject. And even if you change the exposure, it's not gonna go away. So I find this feature even more useful than tracking focus. Guys, don't just take photos of documents. Instead, tap on the scan button and the phone will automatically detect the document and crop the photo for you. You'll also get an option to extract text out of documents, which you can copy and paste wherever you want. That is amazing, right? By the way, for this feature to work, make sure that Scene Optimizer and Scan Documents is enabled in the camera settings. And speaking of recording videos, in the camera settings, there's a feature called Auto FPS. This feature is actually quite useful for recording videos in low light. What this feature does is that it lowers the frame rate down to 15 FPS to increase the shutter speed while recording videos in low light conditions. And you can actually see that the difference is quite huge. I honestly did not expect this feature to make such a big difference. So turning on Auto FPS is quite beneficial. Also, the videos are not at 15 FPS. The phone kind of fills in the gaps and brings the frame rate up to a watchable 30 FPS. Now the phone comes with two slow motion modes. The normal slow motion mode records videos at 240 FPS in Full HD and slows them down to 30 FPS. This kinda gives the video a really cool cinematic effect. So all of these videos that you are watching have been taken with the regular slow motion mode and they look fantastic. So this is your standard slow motion mode, but if you want to take a step further, you've also got the super slow motion mode. This records videos at 960 FPS for a fraction of a second and then slows the 960 FPS video down to 30 FPS. And this really slows the video down and you get these surreal slow-mo effect with this mode. And this square is the motion detection area. Basically, the phone will automatically record a super slow-mo whenever there is motion in this area. You can also have a manual trigger by pressing on this button. So yes, these are the slow motion modes on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Fantastic. Let's move on. You can also switch between all 5 cameras while recording videos. Start recording and tap on the different zoom levels to switch between the ultra wide, 3x telephoto and the 10x telephoto camera. And you can also switch to the front facing camera by tapping on this button while the video recording is going on. However, one thing you must keep in mind is that the video frame rate must be set to 30 FPS for UHD, which is 4K, to switch between the cameras. If you record videos at 60 FPS in UHD, then you will not be able to switch between the ultra-wide and the telephoto cameras. So if you want to record in 4K 60, say for example with the telephoto camera, then you must select the telephoto camera before hitting the record button in the 4K 60 mode. To be honest, I find this limitation quite strange since all four cameras at the back can actually record in 4K 60 FPS. What makes things interesting is that if you were to record in 1080p 60 FPS, then you will be able to switch between the different lenses. This shows that the cameras can actually record videos at 60 FPS. So this seems more of a software limitation than a hardware limitation, and Samsung might add the option to switch at 4K 60 in the future. If they do, I will make a video on it and let you guys know. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. There's also a feature called Shot Suggestions. If you enable this, the phone will kinda help you compose your photos. So it will analyze the scene and place a dot on the screen, and you can move your phone towards the dot and get an overall better composition. And I kinda agree with what the phone has suggested since the tree is now at the center of our frame. The Galaxy S22 Ultra also has a dedicated night mode. And this feature makes it easy to take amazing, high quality, low light photos without the need of a tripod. So in night mode, the phone will take multiple photos and combine them into a single high quality photo. And the results are pretty good. The camera also has a couple of built-in filters. And you can access these by tapping on this button and then tapping on filters. Now if these aren't enough, you can scroll to the end and then tap on the download button, and this will take you to the Galaxy Store from where you can download more filters. And there are plenty of free filters available on the Galaxy Store. But if you are still not happy with all of these, then you can create your very own filter. So tap on My Filters and then tap on the plus button and pick a picture from the gallery. For demonstration purposes, I am going to pick this one. So the phone is going to analyze the dominant colors in this picture and use them as the filter. So this photo has a lot of bluish purple, hence the blue purple filter. Here's another one. This photo has a lot of yellow in it, so you get a yellowish filter. This feature is pretty darn amazing, right? Lastly, you also have some basic beauty effects. These are basic enhancements for your face. If your finger can't reach the camera shutter button, maybe you're holding the phone at a weird angle, then what you can do is pull the camera shutter button out and place it wherever you want on the screen. This makes it very easy to take photos. Taking group photos on a tripod? No problem. Show your palm to the phone and it will take a photo. Or even better, use the S Pen to take photos. You can even use your voice. Say, cheese, and the phone will take a photo. Now these features are turned off by default, so you will have to go into the camera settings, scroll down to shooting methods, and then enable these two features. You can also use an external microphone to record higher quality audios in your videos. For this, you will need one of these USB Type-C to Type-A adapters. These are cheap and are easily available on Amazon. So plug the adapter into your phone and connect the microphone's USB cable into the adapter. Start the camera and hit the record button. And check this out. The phone actually tells you that it is using the external microphone. And if you use the Pro Video mode, you also get the gain control. And there is a huge difference in the audio quality. Check this out. This is the audio coming in from the internal microphone of the S22 Ultra. And this is the audio coming in from the USB microphone. And as you can hear, there is a massive difference between the quality of the internal microphone versus a good quality USB microphone. And if you've got a Bluetooth headset connected to your phone, you can use its microphone to capture audio. So go to the Pro Video and under the Audio tab, select Bluetooth. Now the phone will capture audio coming from the microphone that is on the Bluetooth headset. Now if you select the Beatty Mix option, then the phone will capture audio from two sources, its internal microphone and also the microphone that is on the Bluetooth headset. Very useful if you and your cameraman want to talk while recording a video. The phone is also capable of capturing stunning, super wide panoramas. Taking panoramas is actually very easy. Select the panorama mode, tap on the shutter button and start panning your phone in the direction of the arrow, and the phone will automatically capture photos and create a panoramic shot for you. And this is what we have ended up with. Looks awesome, right? If you want the camera to remember certain settings, like the last camera mode that you have used, you might want to go to settings, then scroll down to settings to keep. Here you have a couple of features. If you enable the camera mode option, the camera will start in the previous camera mode that you were using. For example, if you were using night mode and you quit the camera and start it back up, it will remember the last camera mode that you were using and it will start in the night mode, because that's the previous camera mode that you were using. The second option is selfie angle. This I think is quite useful because the front facing camera always defaults to this zoomed in view, which kinda sucks. I kinda prefer this slightly wider view. So if you enable the selfie angle option, the camera will remember the last selfie angle that you have set. So once I set this to the wide view, the camera will always start in this selfie angle. So I think settings to keep is a useful feature and you should go through all of these and make appropriate changes. If you want to take photos and record videos with DSLR like background blur, then you might want to use the portrait modes. You've got two of them, portrait for still images and portrait video. Now inside here you get a couple of effects. The first one is the background blur, kinda gives you that DSLR like feel. Then you've got studio, high key mono, low key mono, backdrop, and my favorite, color point. So plenty of effects to choose from. And as for videos, you've got portrait video. It is the exact same thing, but instead of photos, it records videos. You can also take photos at the full 108 megapixel resolution of the main camera sensor. Tap on the aspect ratio button in the photo mode and select 4:3 108 megapixels. And also you might want to enable the detail enhancer by tapping on this icon. This will give you slightly better quality pictures at the full sensor resolution. Now taking photos at the maximum resolution is not a good idea since removing pixel binning will give you slightly lower quality photos. But due to the insane resolution, you can zoom in a lot without experiencing any pixelation or distortion. It is just insane how much you can actually zoom in. And these are pretty big photos, 12,000 into 9,000 pixels. I mean, that is just insane. A lot of people have asked me how to get the camera viewfinder to work full screen and take photos and videos that cover the entire screen of my phone. Well, for this, you have to change the aspect ratio to full, and by default, the camera will be set to 4:3. That's why you've got black borders on either side. So tap here to open up the aspect ratio options and change this to full. This changes the aspect ratio of the camera to 19.3:9, which is the native aspect ratio of the S22 Ultra. This makes the camera viewfinder work full screen, and the photos and videos taken in this mode will also cover the entire screen of the phone. Now, one important thing, when you view photos and videos taken in full view mode on a computer or a TV, it's going to have black borders on the top and bottom. This is because TVs and PC monitors have an aspect ratio of 16:9. And when you view a photo or a video shot in 19.3:9, well, it's gonna have black borders. Meanwhile, it will cover the entire screen of the S22 Ultra because the screen of the phone is slightly wider. Changing the aspect ratio to 16:9 on the phone will make the photos and videos fit the entire screen of your TV and your PC monitor. But now we have black bars on the right and left on our phone. And finally, this is how 1:1 looks like on the TV and on the phone. Both of them have black borders. However, 1:1 is great for social media sites like Instagram and Facebook. So the bottom line is, if you plan on viewing your photos and videos exclusively on the phone, that too in landscape mode, then go ahead use the full view mode option. Or else stick to 16:9 for videos and 3:4 for photos. This will give you better flexibility. While shopping, you might have noticed that many boxes have a QR code printed on them. This usually contains links to websites that shows you more information about the product. Now, you can use your S22 Ultra to scan these since the phone comes with a built-in QR code scanner. To use the QR code scanner, drop down the notification panel and look for Scan QR Code. Then just point your phone at the QR code you want to scan. As you can see, this points to a web address which we can visit and verify if the ink is genuine or not. That's pretty cool. And you can also create your very own QR codes. For example, this QR code points to my YouTube channel, and if we scan this, that should take us to my YouTube channel. So there you go. You know what? I'll put the link of the QR code generator in the video's description. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Now there are more features and settings. For example, I haven't even touched the AR zone. But since I want to limit this video to 30 minutes, we are going to stop here. Also, if this video was helpful, make sure to hit the like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.